Welcome to Sober Shenanigans, real talk and real recovery. Just two garden variety alcoholics trying to stay sober every day and help all of you out there while we do it. Our whole thing is don't drink today, and this week is Thanksgiving week, so it's going to be difficult. I am, of course, your man Stauff, and with me as always is my main man Primo. What's up, Primo?
Dude, happy holidays, my friend.
Happy holidays.
It's going to be great. However, we have a little drama early in the week. It's not even Thanksgiving. No relatives are over, but our guest, we had a celebrity on tonight. I don't want to ruin the surprise of who it was, but we were going to get a live quote from a real celebrity. Apparently, he's washing his turkey. So the surprise is. See, you're the so the surprise is, unfortunately, you're up. It's on you, and this is going to be breaking your cherry. You have never shared your full story, which I am excited to hear.
All right.
And honored to be the first one to get to hear it. Typically, this is a rarity right here. What we got here. This is a Shenanigang exclusive.
Well, I have shared a lot on the show, but I guess I've never really told my story, if you want to call it that. So I'm down for that. We could give that a shot.
Yeah, what it was like, what happened, what it's like today. We definitely want to get into the causes and conditions and
Sure.
and get down to something that other people can identify with. You know, you're a unique cat. There's no doubt about that. But you have a very common problem, and I think that your unique and common problem, you're going to be able to deliver a great message. So I'm excited.
Great.
No pressure, by the way.
No pressure,
Yeah,
right?
No pressure.
I certainly hope so. I don't have anything to hide, and being on this show proves that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And going through the steps has helped a lot. Finally getting through those, almost through those, and it has relieved a lot and loosened me up, and I've let a lot go that I was holding on to for a long time.
You've always walked like a man. I mean, a strong person, and but I can see a little bit of calmness in you. You're like the old bull. You know what I mean? Just sauntering down the hill. So I'm very.
That's it.
It's been cool.
I'm just trying to saunter. I don't want to go anniewhere too fast or too hard anymore.
Relax, kid. There's no hurry. We're gonna get
Right.
there. Just we're gonna walk down there. Just relax.
Nice. Awesome. All right.
So let's hear about it. Let's hear about the early days of Stauff, your childhood, your family, where you're from. I think that's
Sure.
Yeah.
So I came up I was born in Chicago, but I came up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I lived there until I was 13. And my parents moved me to Florida, and everything was great. I loved it up there. I was a regular kid. And then when we moved to Florida, my parents got divorced, and it was not a peaceful divorce. It was terrible.
right.
They were mean to each other. They were mean to us. It was just really not great. And I think that had to do with why I started drinking and partying, is because I just wanted to escape that. And in hindsight, I think I might have wanted some attention too. You know, that's why I was, I lived on the other side of the railroad tracks. I tried to get in trouble, but so I was I know exactly. I was 16 when I went out with my buddy, and they introduced me to private stock, Heffenreffer's private stock, which is malt liquor, which is some tough stuff, man.
Damn.
And that's the first time I ever drank.
What the hell is it called?
It's called private stock. If you take the cap off, there's a puzzle under it. Those people who know what it is know what it is. But Heffenreffer's private stock, and the puzzle, I guess you could get so wasted you couldn't figure out the puzzle. But it was like something on a 70s talk show. You know, it'd be like the word this, and then like a horseshoe, and then like an upside down thing, and you have to put it together. Like, oh, it's sunglasses, or I wear my sunglasses at night or something. But anyway,
It's a I've never seen that in any other promotion, so there's probably a good reason. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
But malt liquor, huh?
Yeah, right to malt liquor. And first night I threw up all over my boy's kitchen. You know, we told my parents I was spending the night at his house. His parents didn't care if he drank. He came from New York. He lived a lot more loose than I did. And that was the beginning. And back in those days, we didn't drink just to get buzzed. We drank to just black the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it was shortly thereafter. So prior to that, my whole goal was to be a college and professional basketball player. And I knew, or I thought, that you couldn't party and do those things. You know,
right
now I know you can. Plenty of them do, but I was trying to be straight. So that was the beginning of me kind of loosening up on that game plan, I guess, because I was having more fun and it was making me more loose to talk to girls I didn't know and things of that nature.
So how much time did you dedicate to this craft of basketball when you were a kid? Was it like every
day?
Did you have a basketball in your hand at all times?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I dribbled every day. I shot every day. Even when I started drinking, I did that. I charted my own shots, my own drills.
So who influenced you for that? What was your
Well, I was in Indiana, first of all, and everyone in Indiana plays basketball.
Who was the coach in Indiana?
Bobby Knight.
That's it.
But my grandfather went to IU. My aunt and uncle went to IU. And all we did was talk about and watch Indiana basketball. So I wanted to play for Indiana.
Gotcha.
But we moved to Florida, and I started drinking, and I was reeling from their divorce, and things were very turbulent. And I had no one was watching over me. As a junior in high school and senior high school, nobody cared what I did. So I did whatever I wanted to do. And unfortunately, that cost me in a lot of ways. So I remember the first time I smoked weed, I was with a guy at the park playing basketball, and he said the obligatory, "Remember, you asked me, I didn't give this to you," right? Because I guess he knew that I would then spend the next 40 years smoking weed.
That's great.
Yeah. So we did that, and the partying just ramped up from there. So, and then it started the beginning of my self-sabotaging and bad decisions. So I was supposed to go to Seton Hall and play basketball, and I turned that down because I wanted to stay close to home and party, and I had a girlfriend. So I ended up going to a junior college close to home and just kept partying and kept drinking. And I eventually did make it up to North Carolina to play basketball at a big-time school. And I was still drinking quite a bit and partying quite a bit. It was UNCG, North Carolina Greensboro.
Okay.
They were in the tournament last year, 2 years ago. And the big thing was there was the blue gold game. So that's the midnight game.
Okay.
Right? So that gives me plenty of time to drink. So this is the first time that I had drank before a game. I'd never done that before.
Wow.
And so I had some beers before the midnight game. And then unfortunately or fortunately, I scored like 30 points in the game, had a great game in front of the whole school, packed house. So I'm like, oh, shit. I can drink and ball. I can drink and hoop. I'm good at it.
Wow.
Plus, it calmed a little bit of the anxiety of playing in front of people.
So wait a minute. So you're kind of humble, but set the stage. You're in this college stadium. How many people are you playing basketball in front of, let's say?
There was it was all students and stuff, so there was probably 2,500.
2,500, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't like a Friday night game where it was packed with a bunch of people, strangers. It was just the kids at school mostly.
Oh, okay.
This is before they filmed the Midnight Madness. It was before Midnight Madness really took off, but we did it.
Right,
So it was probably 2,500 kids, and it was all the students. So the next day, I'm like, like a hero on campus or whatever. They're like, oh, you're 25, whatever. We saw you.
Awesome.
So unfortunately, that led to me drinking and smoking prior to games, which led to some good games, but also led to some bad games. And it led to me having a tumultuous college career. And the whole thing about college was a waste. I wasn't able to graduate. I didn't finish my classes. I didn't do anything but try to get in trouble. And I was searching for attention, I think, from my parents. And I thought somehow if I went to jail, maybe they'd notice because they were so wrapped up in their own divorce and being mean to each other. And one of the shitty things was, like, I would fly back to Florida to play one game a year, either against Eckerd College or someone in the state. And my parents would show up, and one would sit on one side of the stadium and the other one would sit on the other side of the stadium, and they hated each other.
No.
And what happened is I would just think the whole game about what they're thinking, and I would wonder, who am I going to go see first after the game, because the other one's going to be mad if I go see. And these are the thoughts going through my head instead of just playing ball. So
that's the product of a divorced kid.
Yeah. So I would get drunk before the game to deal with that. I would get high before the game to deal with anxiety of playing in front of people. And, you know, I would meet some people, one person in particular that ended up being huge in my recovery story later on. And a quick story, this is my roommate, Pat. Tabs, I love you. My roommate, Pat, and I were up in the mountains of North Carolina with our girlfriends, and we were wasted. And our girlfriends are up, and we're on a waterfall. It's probably 200 feet down, beautiful waterfall. But our girlfriends, we've been drinking all day, are playing in the waterfall. And whoop, the waterfall grabs their feet, takes them off their feet. They bang their heads on the rock, and it takes them over the waterfall.
Oh.
We don't know what to do. So we start to panic. I run to the edge of the waterfall and look down, and I can see that they have sunken down, but their heads popped up and then went down again.
Oh.
So Pat starts running down the side of the mountain to get down to where they are. I just jump, fully clothed. I'm thinking to myself, well, if they just fell and popped up, maybe it's not going to kill me. I'll live and be awake. So I jump. And I go 50 feet, 60 feet down, hypothermia. I mean, it's December, and we're in the mountains.
Holy shit.
And it's so cold, I'm already can't feel whatever. But I open my eyes, and I can see both of them sinking. And thank goodness they weren't huge. They were smaller girls. So I grab them both by their belt buckles on the back of their jeans, and I kick as hard as I can, and I start throwing them towards the side of the river, because I'm hoping Pat is there. Right. I can't see anything. I'm underwater and I'm freezing. My eyes are open and I'm looking, and now I'm grabbing them and I'm pushing them up. And all of a sudden, boom, one gets sucked up. Boom, the other one gets sucked up. Thank God Pat was there. Pat's a big guy. He pulled them up. Now I'm out of gas.
Right.
And I know it. I've got one kick left to maybe get my hand out of the water. Otherwise, I'm done. Because I'm frozen. I got shoes on that are making me sink. I got jeans on that are making me sink. So I give it one last push, and I get my hand barely out of the water, and bam, Pat grabs my hand and pulls me out to safety. And I can barely breathe, and we're laying there, and we're hypothermia, and he saves us. He pulls us out and saves us. And that's one of those things where we were too drunk and too stoned to be messing around any sort of thing like that waterfall, and it almost killed us, because we were not in the right state of mind. So that's Pat pulling me out, saving my life. So basically that's like the end of my senior year of college, and I end up going to jail for a credit card scheme that I was pulling, which again I was under the influence, which is where I had the university's credit card to make long-distance phone calls, and I would charge my dorm mates $20 to call home, because we didn't all have cell phones back then. And then my drug dealer called Columbia on the same situation. So the athletic director's like, who the hell's calling Columbia? And I said, well, it was Charles. Long story short, they arrested us. So I spent my last day in college arrested.
Today we consider that as an entrepreneur.
Oh,
yeah, not.
Well, phone cards hadn't even come out yet, so I was a little ahead of my time when it comes to that.
Times have changed.
But it was just another example of a wasted, self-sabotaging me. I had the opportunity to play ball on a big level. I actually had gotten invited to try out for the Charlotte Hornets and didn't show up because I got wasted. But I was also in the recording studio and fancied myself as a rapper at the time, so I was also recording tracks, and I convinced myself I was going to be in the music business, so I didn't have to be sober. I didn't have to be sober and not have a record to do that. So I come home. I'm drinking probably 12 beers a night, 2 blunts. I get a terrible job printing T-shirts with my best buds and my brother, and we go in the recording studio and we start making a record. And I do end up, amongst other things, I do end up getting a record deal with Capitol Records.
Yeah.
Because of a video that we put out nationwide with the Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff, Will Smith, and them, and it's on YouTube if you wanted to look it up. But that was cool. And then here comes another self-sabotage story. So I win that.
I know. I'm really disappointed because I actually have a bunch of your music.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Well,
It's really some great old school stuff. It's clean. It's not like bitches and hoes and kill the cop or any of that. It's like it's good stuff, man. And I love the lyrics.
I appreciate it. And the story I've told before is, my manager at the time was Tony Montello. He was a mobster here in Tampa.
Right.
And he went out to L.A. to get us another deal from Capitol. We had a little distribution deal to get us another deal, and he came back and he said, they're not signing anybody who's not gangster. If you're not young and if you don't talk about guns and drugs and stuff like that, they're not signing you because they all have ownership in privatized prisons now.
Jeez.
So they need to push that story so that they can get more people in prison. So they consciously spun hip hop into that direction, the label owners, to get more people in prison. That's a story that a lot of people know now. I heard it firsthand back then.
Jeez.
So anyway, self-sabotage. I win this contest nationwide, Jive Records. They fly us out to Hollywood. We're hanging out with Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff. Now, a smart guy would have his game ready, maybe some demo tapes, because you're going out to Hollywood. I immediately get off the plane, tell the limo driver, take us to the liquor store. We need quarts, we need 40s, and find me some weed. And this is me. This is
some malt liquor.
Right. This is my rider. Got to have this stuff, right? Because
green M&Ms and malt liquor.
I had to be in that state of mind and that thinking. So we end up hanging out with Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, and they're really cool, and they're pretty much very sober, but I was not.
Right.
So I end up, of course, sticking my foot in my mouth with the Fresh Prince. I start making bad jokes about the girls on the show with him. He doesn't like it. He actually uses the quote, "That'd be the first," because I told him I should be on the show. He goes, "How do I put you on the show?" I go, "You need a funny white guy. That's me. How do you get on the show?" I said, "I play ball, you play ball, we play against each other, and then your cousin falls for me, and then you're really pissed." And then I made some other lewd jokes about the cousins, and he got mad because he considered them his sisters. And again, alcohol and drugs had sabotaged me from a great opportunity.
I remember you telling me this story before. In my recollection, because of your saboteur, you are an expert saboteur.
Yeah.
I was thinking that you could have been the one to slap Chris Rock. There's just that fine line between that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Fresh Prince almost slapped me that day. Of course, I'm bigger than him. I'm not Chris Rock.
No.
So I would have tagged him back.
Yeah, he didn't get through the Ali movie yet.
No. He was young, skinny guy, and I was not.
He was a prince, not a king.
For sure. That's right.
Yeah, I remember.
That's right.
I followed that story.
Yeah.
I liked him too. You know what I mean? He was cool. I mean, I actually liked Alfonso Ribeiro because he did the videos on the safe way to break and pop.
He did.
Yeah.
Nice memory.
Oh, yeah.
And the Michael Jackson videos, he did.
Oh, yeah. I had a jacket. I had one of those jackets back then.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was part of the early rap generation.
Yeah.
Mixtapes. We had what do they call a bootleg.
Yeah.
I had some bootleg coming from Brooklyn or whatever it was, and we thought we were just the kings.
98.7 Kiss FM or something like that. We did too.
I mean, I think we had guys going up there and buying bootleg just so we could have this new music. So
it was a great time.
It was. You know what? I mean, I've been to some rap concerts and back in the day, and it got kind of crazy. But I've seen the Beastie Boys, I've seen Run DMC and LL and Houdini and the Sugar Hill Gang. And so we ran with a pretty strange crew. I think you and me, we would have partied together. That's what I really like, the chemistry we have about some of our backgrounds. I would have never been a basketball player for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they change they would have to change a lot of things about basketball for me to play.
Well, that's yeah. So I continue to drink and drug, and I messed I messed my basketball career up. I messed my music career up, and I came back in town, and then I through a network of friends, I luck into a great business opportunity with a great guy. I'm still making music on the side. We're still doing some shows. I did open for Run DMC. I did do some great shows. I did do a halftime show at a Charlotte Hornets game, which is ironic that I got drunk and slept through my tryout for the Charlotte Hornets. Then 4 years later, I'm performing at a halftime of their game because we did do the theme song for them. But yeah, alcohol and drugs took all that away. If I'd have been a bit sober back then, I probably could have made the best of it. So, I'm back in Florida, and I've got this new great job, and that's when I get married and we start having kids. I'm about 30 at this time, but alcohol and drugs are still a big part of my life, unfortunately, and so I'm doing well with this job, and things are going good. I'm away from the self-sabotage for a while. I'm doing okay. I'm quitting drinking for 3 months at a time, or a little bit at a time, or stop smoking for a little bit, and it just I would always find a reason, whether things were good I could drink or bad I could drink. But if they were status quo, I'd find a way not to drink. Okay, life's all right.
Were you like a St. Patrick's Day drinker and a Super Bowl drinker, and then?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean
those days were like guaranteed.
Right.
Guaranteed. You were getting a hall pass.
Right. Give myself a hall pass. Yeah. Especially St. Patrick's Day, which happened to be the anniversary of my first quote unquote date with my wife.
Yeah. Wow.
Another move, alcohol, but this is so my wife and I are at this place O'Keefe's, and we're not together. It's St. Patrick's Day. She's
Fort Harrison?
Yep.
Oh, I've had some romance down there, believe it or not.
She's actually on a date, and she's got a rose that the guy gave her. And I just walk up to her, and I was like, "You want to dance on this muddy floor?" And she looked at the rose. She threw the rose away and danced with me, and never went back to whoever she was on the date with.
Meow.
Right. So whoever that guy is, he lost out because I'm still married to her today.
He's probably one of our
listeners.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's got to be messed up after that.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do for you.
Greg, you want to do a formal amends right now?
I do not. As my wife would say, I can't blame you, but I can't help you either.
Well, somebody buys. If I could show up with a rose, you better run. That's all I can tell you.
So things are going well for a while. I am continuing to drink and drug, and I'm pulling it off, right? I'm pulling it off for a while. The kids are doing okay. The job is getting better. And then I get into a position where I'm taking over that particular company, and my drinking and drug usage really ramps up. I'm paying myself too much money. I'm not doing enough work. And I think it's just awesome. This is awesome. I've got this company, and I totally forgot what made it run. I thought my genius was making it run, not the actual work that was put in before me that I should have continued. Instead, I was, taking whole days, whole weeks off because I was hungover, or just partying that whole day, that whole week. Doesn't matter. I was definitely out of control.
You got the saboteur part-time job in the company.
Saboteur part-time job, and
nice.
And then I pull some shenanigans with my partner, the guy who got me in, and it's just that's something else that's on my amends list that I need to do, and that was all alcohol and drug addled. By that time, I was drinking, and cocaine had become something that I was doing a lot, and if you've ever done that, that will just fuck your brain up. You can't think straight on it. I mean, it can be, I don't want to say fun, but it's no good. And it had me bottom out, and it had me pull some terrible maneuvers with my old partner. I I ended up bringing in a new partner, and it was just downhill from there. And so that lasted a few years, and then I was burning bridges everywhere. I had friends I was losing because I couldn't control my gossiping and my talking when I was drinking. It got to a point where, hey, no one listens to Greg anyway. He's always wasted. You know what I mean? It literally got to that point.
Yeah, cocaine definitely changed the game. You know what I mean? It was like for me, it was like, oh man, you know, I was, I don't know, I wasn't really social at any of this, but that was something like you couldn't go out in public, man. I would be peeping out the windows, crawling around the carpet, looking for some scraps, and I mean, I was a different human being after I found that. It's not pretty.
No, I was social with it, but I also, like, I never woke up with any.
No.
No one ever wakes up with any.
No,
you do it until you're done, and then hopefully you fall asleep, but probably not.
I never made it I tried to be an entrepreneur in that field. That didn't work out too well either.
You know? No, it doesn't. I dabbled in entrepreneurship in all those fields, and most of it was just to keep your own habit going and maybe have a little cash to get a little, but
just so I could afford what I needed.
Yeah, so you could afford.
So I didn't have to steal from anybody.
Yeah,
which was always Plan B.
Well, I did plenty of that. You know, I'm not proud of any of it, and I can only bring it up now because I've kind of rid myself of the guilt of it by going through the program. And I know that I'm not alone, so I wanted other people to know, listeners to know that, you know, one of your hosts has been through it too. And, you know, I remember the day that it all came to a head. So I've been promising. So I ruined my daughter's 18th birthday party. That I was helping throw for her, and I just got too out of control. Too much weed, too many gummies, too much of this, too much of that. Fireball was popular. You know, I'd taken and done everything I could. And I tell this story in meetings as I woke up that morning, and this is my blackout. I was blacking out real bad. And I would just wake up in bed and have no idea how I got there. And I woke up, we were renting a place on the beach for the party, and I woke up in that bed, and I looked up at the ceiling, and I said, oh, shit. It was the first thing out of my mouth because I woke up, and I knew that something had happened, and I didn't remember any of it. And 3 rooms away, I hear my wife's voice go, that's right, oh, shit.
Oh.
Just like that. So I was like, oh, what did I do? Well, I had done a lot. And I'd ruined the party, and I'd argued with my kids, and I was trying to leave the party and go to another party somewhere with my brother and sister to a bar, and we were way too wasted. And so this starts happening, and things like this start happening where I'm ruining my relationship with my family, my kids, and I'm getting in the habit of leaving my wife places, which is terrible. So my wife and I would go out, and I would get to a point in my inebriation where I would leave. It's totally unsafe, and I can't believe I'm so glad I never harmed anybody or gotten any wrecks, but I would get to a blackout point and drive home. And I would leave wherever I was. It was an Irish goodbye all the time.
Did you know how to close one eye so that you could see?
Sure.
Yeah, that was the one-eye driving trick.
Yeah, that's no good.
No.
And my wife would tell me the next morning, she'd say, you know, you left me there. And I'd say, no, I didn't. I didn't leave you there. And she'd go, no, you did. You left me there.
Wow.
I mean, that's unexcusable, right? I'm ruining birthday parties. I've sabotaged my company. I've ruined my wife. I'm leaving her places. So we get to the breaking day, right? So December 17th, 2022, my wife says she wants to talk to me, and I know what's coming. I know what's coming. And she says, we've had enough. I've had enough. I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm leaving. I'm going to my mom's. And, you know, the kids are all moving out, what have you. And they've had enough. We're done. And I knew it was done. I knew it was the real deal. You know, we've had these talks before, but this was different. This was different. And I just begged her for forgiveness right there on the spot. And in my mind, I knew I was an alcoholic. In my mind, I knew that day had to come. In my mind, it's almost like that alcoholic thinking is something like that has to happen to get me to stop. And I'd been thinking crazy thoughts like, maybe it's better off if I'm dead.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's better off for my kids if I'm dead. This is before she says this to me. I'm having these thoughts. I'm having these thoughts like, you know what? I'll just be the alcoholic of Eastlake. I'll be the Otis, you know, from Mayberry, where everyone knows I'm the drunk. And then my kids will be like, oh, I don't want to be like Dad. Look at him. He's a drunk. So this is how I rationalized my drinking, is I had rationalized the booze won. When you're thinking shit like that, when you're thinking things like suicide and being the town drunk is a good option, the alcohol has won. So that day, I tell my wife, you know, please don't. I don't know what I'll do. I swear I'll stop. And I didn't know what to do. She didn't leave that day. She hung out. I said, just stay here, please. Just stay here. You don't have to stay in the same room with me. Just stay here. Don't leave. And I called two buddies of mine that I know are sober. And one is my boy Kev, my quote unquote, sponsor, godfather, whatever. And then the other one is my boy Pat, who pulled me out of that river.
Wow.
And they both said, go to AA. And they were both in it. I did not know that. I just knew they quit drinking. I did not know they were part of a program. And I knew they'd quit, and I knew they had quit for a while. So they said, I remember Kevin said, and he knows my wife. And Kevin's like, well, I said, Kevin, I've lost it all. I walked around my house for 3 days, didn't eat, didn't drink, didn't work, didn't sleep. Just telling myself, Greg, you fucked it all up. You fucked it all up. You've lost it all. You had everything you wanted. Even after those years of drinking my way out of basketball, drinking my way out of the music business, drinking my way out of my business, they were still there, but I'd finally burnt that bridge.
Right.
And Pat says, you got to try to find AA. You got to try to find a meaning. You got to start. You got to do something. I mean, are you ready to do it? And I said, I think I am. Yes, I am. I am ready. Because I knew I wanted a better life deep down. So I Google AA and I find this place on US 19 up in Newport Richey that's an AA shop. It's got books and stuff. So I just walk in the door and
It's a bookstore.
It's a bookstore. I'm a disheveled mess. And the guy's name was Rick. And he's in there by himself. And he goes, how you doing? And I start bawling. I'm like, I'm doing terrible. I've lost this battle. I need help today. I've lost the battle with drugs and alcohol. I can't fight it anymore. It has lost everything that I have, and now it's going to lose the things that I care the most about. And he said, all right, we'll just have a seat. And he said, he said, let's read out of the book. We have a book here. It's called The Big Book, and we'll read out of it. So we start reading out of it, and immediately having a religious church background, I'm like, oh, great, a book. Because I came up with the Bible and hymnals and such. So I'm like, okay, I can relate to this immediately. Let's read. That's calming to me, makes sense. And then he tells me that it's been around since like 1935 or 1932, somewhere in that era. I can't remember the exact day. And I'm thinking, oh, shit, that's almost 100 years. This might work. So from that day, I finally get up and I leave and I go, how much owe you for the book? And he goes, keep it. You can have it. So he gave me the big book that I have now.
You ever see him?
No, I have not been back. I should probably go back and thank him. I really, really should. I've passed that bookstore quite a bit. And you can see the triangle with the circle when you pass it.
Yeah, you need to make
So
a pilgrimage.
So so I go to the meeting and I'm outside this room and I walk in and it just looks terrible. It's a tiny room. It's dingy. It's smoky. It's everything you would see in an AA room from a movie. And I walk back outside and I call Pat. And Pat's the guy who saved my life by pulling me out of the river. And now he was saving my life again by pulling me out of my alcoholism and putting me in the right place. And I thank him 3 times a week for that. We talk quite a bit now, thank goodness. We hadn't talked for years, but he goes, is it dark? Is it dank? Are there guys outside smoking cigarettes? I said, yes. He goes, you're at the right place. He goes, just go in, sit there for an hour, see how it is.
Where was it?
It was in Tarpon. It was on the east side of US 19. I don't remember exactly where. It was near that bookstore.
Oh, cool.
But it's the first time I ever went there. I went from there, and I said, I got to find a newer meeting closer to home. And I found the dry dock where I found David, and David took me to the warehouse, which is where I go.
Cool.
I go mostly now. So,
I mean, he went to more than one place?
He did.
Oh.
He did. I think he still does.
Okay.
So that was the beginning of me giving up, me giving it to God. Is I had lost it all. So I continued to talk to Kevin and talk to Pat almost every day. They were my pseudo sponsors before I had a sponsor. And I did 110 meetings in 90 days because I wanted to do that. Right. And
let me ask
go
you
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
What was the moment you realized recovery wasn't just going to change your life, but it was going to save it?
That's a great question. I realized probably when I got my 60-day chip, maybe 60 days in, and I wasn't working because I messed that up, and I had nothing else to do. So I was going to meetings and doing sobriety every day, recovery every day. So I was talking to people. I was doing everything you're supposed to do, reading, all that. And about 60 days in, when I got my 60-day chip, I realized that, oh my gosh, that thing happened, right? That fog lifted. Like, I didn't have the spiritual experience yet. That was still to come, and it came. But I realized that all these people in this room actually care about me.
Right.
Even though they just met me, they really care that I stay sober. And I think this can change my life, and I could turn it into a great life still. I think I still have time. I came in my early 50s.
Right.
And a lot of people like yourself come in much earlier. Some come in at this time, but they come in earlier. So I'm like, man, at first I was like, oh, I wish I had come in earlier. But I said to myself about 60 days in, I think this can give me a better life. And that was it. And I decided that no matter what, I just was not going to drink. And I was going to play this out. And I wasn't even going to put in my head that, all right, a year from now, I'll have a drink. Or 5 years from now, I'm going to have a drink. Because I know people do that. Right. They future trip, and they think, oh, I'm just going to stay sober to get my wife and kids back, and then I'll drink again. But I realized that even if it didn't get my wife and kids back on a full-time basis, because they weren't going to believe me right away anyway, 60 days of sobriety wouldn't mean shit to them. They've seen me do 60 days.
Yeah, sorry it wasn't working.
No.
Yeah.
No, they've seen me do that. They've seen me tell them I'd stop drinking. When I ruined my daughter's birthday party, I had to drive home the next day with the 2 daughters in the back of the car, and they're both crying because of what I did, how I ruined it. And I'm telling them, I'm begging them for forgiveness, and I'm telling them I'll stop drinking again. And it was a year and a half after that I finally did quit. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So
I met your one daughter, and she's as fine a daughter as you could ask for sure.
And it was her birthday.
Yeah, she's well, she showed up here. That's part of the promises, man.
Yeah. It's so that's when that happened. That's when I realized that recovery could give me a better life.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I think so if we're still doing this podcast 30 years from now, what version of you hope shows up on the mic?
Well, 30 years from now, I will be in my 80s. So I just hope to be here, but I know I'll be sober, number one.
Sure.
I hope I'm still married to my wife. I hope she's still alive too, number two. And I've got a slew of grandkids, and life is just great. I hope that I'm living like some of the guests we've had, like Mason, like Vinny, like the older guys. I hope I'm an elder statesman at some of the meetings around. I hope that I've got a slew of sponsees that I've helped. I hope that I still have a great relationship with my higher power. I don't know why that would ever go away. I hope that I still can go to the Saturday meeting at Safety Harbor with all the old guys, and a couple of meetings at the warehouse with everybody else, and see new people come in. I mean, you're older than me, so you'll be dead, but
yeah, I'll be dead. But right now I'm levitating.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm experiencing all the things you want to have. So,
you are.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I hope. I hope that 3 years from now, you know, I can honestly say I'm not going to drink ever again. I can honestly say that. Now,
I can see you're convicted in the way you feel, and I can see that you believe in this path. And it's, you know, look, it's almost like a third eye shows up, and you're like, okay, I've already done this other part. Now I've got this new direction. It's a new compass. And it's due north like all the time, man. It's no longer the south side of the compass stops working, man, and it's awesome.
And what I've also seen firsthand is just because you quit drinking and get sober doesn't mean everything in your life gets easier and better right away.
You know, I just made that metaphor up, by the way.
You did?
Yeah, I just that
nice.
Like on the fly. That's what happens when you get, you know,
when you get as much sobriety as you.
Yeah, you just the stuff like that just kind of drips out of you.
I can only hope. Only hope.
No, I those are great goals and aspirations to you know, to have that legacy of people around you, and to know that you bought into it. You know, like, here's what's wrong with me, and here's what I'm going to do about it. And more will be revealed. The big reveal is coming. I mean, there's so many more things that you're going to get to experience, and you're going to handle situations which used to baffle you. I've watched you grow, like, and be challenged at your age to have to go from being a CEO and president of a company to go back to the grind and say, you know what, shit, I screwed up. I got to go, you know, I got to stand up for this oath that I took to my wife to take care of her, and I got to go back and do things. And sobriety affords you that opportunity. You know, that is like, it's so, for me, it's the greatest reality show. I love to sit back, and I just kind of change the channels. Oh, I'm checking this one out today or that one. And you're sitting there rooting for them. And, you know, occasionally, yeah, I'll say a few things, but I love to watch it. And when you start keying in on it, it's a beautiful gift, you know, and I know that you're receiving it.
Yeah. And, you know, the great thing is I've noticed is I don't, it's not that I would back down to a challenge when I was drinking or drugging. It's that you could find an excuse not to do it. And being sober, I have no excuse not to do anything that I want to do. Whether that is the challenge of a new job with a new company in a new corporation where I'm not the boss,
right,
where I'm just a guy, you know, so I go in and I work as hard as I can and start over. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Not having a payroll dragon is kind of nice.
It's kind of nice not being in charge and taxes and insurance and things like that. But yeah, I mean, and you know, it's a great life. I'm embracing every day. There are challenges on my plate just because of some situations that alcohol and drugs have put me into financially. I'm still having to deal with. The thing about being drugged and drunk and drugged all the time is you forget about it.
Right.
You do this damage, whether it's financially or physically or mentally or emotionally, and you get wasted and you forget you did it. So I've had to wake up to some, you know, stuff that I messed up, and now I'm fixing it.
You know what? You handled it like a man. I mean, there was a little whimpering in there, but you there was a little bit of an acorn landed square.
There was some times I was feeling sorry for myself, and I, because there was some time where I'm thinking, how can I be so sober and not? Why aren't things perfectly falling into place?
Right.
Right. Like the three things that I'm invested in or the three things I'm working, why aren't they making me rich right now? I'm sober. All the good things are supposed to happen. Well, things take time, sober or not. You gotta let things materialize. And it's, Primo, it's just something I never knew how great this program was. I never knew how great sobriety was. Had I known, I would have done it a long time ago. But that's the thing. You're caught up in that fog, and you got that sense of feeling like sober people are nerdy or whatever, or boring, and that's totally the opposite.
But you don't get to have that moment with your wife in the garage. You know what I mean? So you get sober at a different point in your life, and you miss that energy needed, the required moment. So, to me, I call that the you had an spiritual awakening. That's what is an awakening to me, is that moment when she's like, we're out, and you're like, oh, immediately you got real spiritual and started asking God for all kinds of help. And that's the cool part. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting here like, wow, that was your moment. I got a question for you here.
Sure.
As we are winding down here on this Thanksgiving edition of the Sober Shenanigans, me and my boy Stauff here, rocking into this holiday season together. Stay tuned. We will be. I'm going to be publishing some holiday survivor guides for the Shenanigang. I want you guys to take heed to some of this wisdom that we're going to be spitting out at you, and share it. Share it with your friends. This is good stuff. If you have any advice, bring it in. But give me a Thanksgiving version. What's something you're grateful for now that Stoph from 5 years ago would have laughed at? What are you grateful for today that would have just been?
I am grateful for that I would have laughed at. I would have laughed at the amount of weight I give my higher power right now. I would have laughed at me being sober, because 5 years ago that would have been a pipe dream, and I would have just laughed at myself that I thought I could pull it off.
Being the funny guy of us two, I'm going to help you out.
Go ahead.
It certainly would have been, I'm going to be on a podcast with this guy named Primo. and we're going to try to help other people.
True.
And I'm going to be talking to people about getting sober.
Well, that's true. I would have laughed at my whole situation, because I was a notorious con man. I always was looking for an angle. So if today me was talking to 5 years ago me, 5 years ago me would have been like, what's the angle?
Oh yeah.
Like, what's your hustle? Why are you sober now? How are you making money from this? Knowing that it's a true passion, and it's a true walk of life for me.
Yeah.
I could have handled that no problem.
The fact that we're and just so you guys know, we're out there. We have made so much money on this that we really don't we don't even have to do this anymore. Now it's just become a passion project. Yeah, we're totally crushing it.
Yeah.
But
he's being facetious. He's kidding.
Yeah, right. But I'm certainly putting some stuff in the bank. To me, this is life equity. This is kind of the stuff I talk to sponsees about, when we are able to develop equity in our life, and we just have that overwhelming sense of God consciousness. I guess it talks about it, right? But
yeah,
where I know I'm going to be okay. Like the ATM's going to work, like it's the great cool thing about sobriety is the ATM always seems to work. The food gets on the table, the bills get paid. And as long as I don't drink, man, everything else happens. Everything else has the opportunity to evolve.
Yeah.
Put the drink in, everything stops. It's like that moment. I'm at ground zero. The compass is in the south direction. Everything, it's cool, but
well, I am powerless over it, and I admitted that the first time I came into the rooms. It was painfully obvious. And I knew it. And the funny thing is, and that's not funny. So when I told my roommate, Pat, who saved my life twice, he was with me in college when I was drinking before games. He saw all of that. So when I told him that, Pat, I think I'm an alcoholic. I need to join AA. I got to stop drinking. He said, "You think?" He goes, "I can't believe it took you this long."
Right.
He goes, "I knew this call was going to come." But he goes, "You remember I was there, Stauff. I was there." And I was like, yeah, you were there. I remember. Yeah.
No, I can see a guy like you having friends his whole life, and somehow they come out, they drift away, and then somehow it's just real. You know what I mean? So I am obviously super stoked, and I'm going to use a Lou statement here. I'm stoked to have you in my life. This has been a real, I don't even know what, if it stopped tomorrow, I would certainly figure something else to do, but I am loving it. I do love it.
Yeah.
And, there's a question on here. And then we kind of wind it down. I think
Sure.
you got your little thing you want to do.
Yeah.
But I want to ask a question here, and it was funny as shit. I have like 20 questions I came up with here, and what's the diaper situation? 30 years from now, are you changing mind, or is that above your pay grade?
It's way above my pay grade. I'm not changing anybody's diapers unless they're my great grandbabies.
Well, so
much less yours.
Okay, so we're gonna have to work on the living will.
Yeah. Work on that.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of you lawyers out there, hit me up. I'm gonna have to have some, because I probably won't know who's changing them at that point.
No, it won't be me.
Yeah.
I'll have someone changing mine too.
I don't. If I need a diaper, I'm not going to be in a diaper. I promise you that's not part of my style.
No, me neither.
So.
All right, well, listen, if you're having a tough time quitting, whatever it is you need to quit, you're not alone. There's apps and numbers and groups in your town, or you can call us if you want. 813-625-2532. Hit us up on Facebook. You're taking that first step into a room or a chat or a group with people trying to get better just like you will be the best day of your life. Primo, what's your final point on today's show?
Today is, it's about unity, man. It's family. It's about giving back this week, man. It's about being grateful and thankful. Just do the dishes this week. You know what? Somebody will appreciate it. Just do the dishes and say please and thank you and love everyone. You know, it's a great week for that.
It is.
And go Lions.
Oh, nice. I go Lions at the end.
Yeah. I'm purposely not going to be serving any cheese platters at my house.
Because they play the Packers?
They do.
Yeah.
Fudgy. We call them the Fudgies.
Nice. Nice. Well, thanks for listening to Sober Shenanigans, real talk and real recovery. Worry, anxiety, and fear is all up in here. So just give yourself a break. You're enough, and you're doing great. I'm Stauff, and he's Primo. And remember, no drinks today.